Hi General Math students. We're going to do some trigonometry now involving sine, cosine and tangent. This video is going to assume that you understand how to name the sides of a right angle triangle. So we're talking about the longest side, the hypotenuse, the side that's opposite to the angle, and the side that runs alongside the angle, the adjacent side. Also going to assume that you understand that the sine of theta is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse, cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and the tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. Of course, I will be using the trusty magic word, SOHCAHTOA. That's what I use in order to remember these ratios, but I know lots of other students have given me other acronyms like two old angels sitting over heaven and some other bits, CAH. I can't remember that myself, but whatever you use to remember the trig ratios is absolutely fine, and in fact this appears on your information sheet during tests and the exam situation, so you don't even really need to remember it off by heart, but it can make it quite fast. So I'm going to be just going through these three basic steps in the problems that we're looking at, and looking at how we set up the trig equation and then rearrange it. There's a couple of different styles there, but this is most likely stuff that you have seen before, so I'm sure it'll all come back to you. So, first one on the left here, I'm going to name the two sides that are involved, and we want to find the opposite side, and we're given the adjacent side. So given our SOHCAHTOA, the two sides are involved are O and A, so we're going to use T for tangent. So I write down tangent, or just tan, of the angle, 48 degrees, and that's equal to, okay, now is it x over 4.2 or 4.2 over x? Well, if we look at TOA up here, O comes before A, so that means the opposite side goes on top because it's first over here, so it comes first when we write it down on top here. So we need to rearrange this. That means making x the subject. So this 4.2 is going to perform the opposite mathematical operation on the other side of this equation. Over here it is dividing, so it's going to go over there and do the opposite, which is times. So we end up with x equals 4.2 times tan 48. Now, to put that into the TI Inspire, and also into your scientific calculator, it would look exactly the same as this. The scientific calculators are quite good for these. They're probably a little bit faster than using the TI, fewer buttons, or just all the buttons are available to you on the front of the calculator. But here I'll use the TI Inspire. So I'm going to go 4.2 times, and then I go over to this button that says trig, and I tap that, and I'm going to choose tan this time. So you might want to use sine or cos. Later on we'll even use some of these inverse sine, cos and tan functions, but right now just tan of, what was it again? 48 degrees. And I push enter, and we get 4.66, so forth. Okay, so we'll say 4.7 for that one. So you might want to pause the video at this stage and see if you can try the next one, and then I'll have a go at it. Okay, so let's see which two sides are involved. We want the adjacent side. We've got the hypotenuse is given to us. So this time A and H are involved. So we're going to use C for cosine. Cosine 37 equals, okay, which one's on top? A comes before H, so the a goes on top, a in this case being x over 14. So we're multiplying that 14 on the other side again. Okay, so you might want to try and put that into the calculator and see what you get. I'll just tidy this up a little bit because I should say x equals, of course, like this. That should be my working out. Okay, so I'll just show you guys straight up. We want that number, 11.1809. Okay, now by all means pause the video and try these next two, but just read this this up here, a couple of sentences. The transposition is a little bit different. You could pause now and give it a go, then I'll try it. Okay, so with this one, we just proceed in the same way. Here's our angle over this side. This is opposite, and this is the adjacent. So we're still using, well, we're going back to when we're using tan, opposite and adjacent. All right, no worries. So we just go proceed as usual. Tan of the angle 68 equals. Now, which goes on top? Well, opposites before adjacent. O is before A and SOHCAHTOA. So the opposite side goes on top. Now things look a little different here because before the x's were all on top. So what do we do in this situation? Well, let me show you the long way, and then I'll show you, well, we'll basically arrive at a shortcut we can use from now on. So first off, well, this x, I want to get x on its own, so what I'll do is I'll take x on the other side. Over here it's dividing, so on the other side it'll times x times tan 68 degrees equals 12. And then this is timesing here. I want x on its own, so I'll take the tan 68 and divide it on the other side. So 12 divided by tan 68. Now, this manipulation is going to be exactly the same every single time we get one of these where the number's on top. So my saying is, if the number's on top, put it on top. So you can just take this number and bang it on top on the other side each and every time. And you'll see this last one will work in a really similar fashion. Try putting this one into the calculator. You're going to do 12 divided by tan of 68. And you should get that number there. Okay, so you might want to pause now and see if you can do this last one, and then I'll have a go at it. Okay, so this one, we've got the opposite side and the hypotenuse. So finally, O and H are the ones that are involved, and so we're going to use sine. Now, we end up with sine of 70 equals 7.2 on x. So the number's on top. Now, rather than doing all this rearranging, I'm just going to go straight to what I know will be the end. 7.2 over sine 70. Okay, try that one on the calculator, and you should get this number here. Okay guys, so go ahead and check the questions in the description for the video, and then make sure you can do those ones. These really are the basic sort of skills we need for the bigger questions that we're going to be doing later on. If there's any worries you're having with these, remember I'm there for you in the classroom.